One thing that it's very important to understand is that there's no right way to write a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And that means there's no wrong way to write a worksheet as well. Basically, a worksheet is a place for you to collect all of the stressful thoughts that are running in your mind in a particular situation. So any way that you write them is going to be fine. That said, there this work is also a meditation. And so with practice, you may find that you can settle into and identify what's really bothering you more easily when you follow a few guidelines. But I'm going to give you these guidelines simply as guidelines. These are not rules. You're not doing it wrong if you don't do it this way. But I find it very helpful myself to write a worksheet that stays really focused on what's actually bothering me. And so to do that, I want to show you what I mean when you're filling in lines 2 through 6. So if you look at this chart here, you'll see the emotion is all around, and as we narrow it down, as we've done already, there was a situation that kind of started narrowing it down. There was an offender that narrowed it down further. Then there was a statement of fact, what they actually did, that narrowed it down further. And then at the core of it was my emotional interpretation of what they did. That's what really bothered me. And so when I fill in lines 2 through 6, I'm going to stay focused on this emotional interpretation. And when you fill in line 1 of the worksheet, the emotional interpretation goes right here after because. So in this situation, I am, whatever emotion I feel, with blank, whoever the offender is, because what? Because of whatever it is I thought that they did. So once I identify that in line 1, then I'm going to hold that. I'm going to keep referring back to that when I write line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6. It's kind of like when you're writing any kind of article, you'll have kind of a thesis statement where it's like the main thing that you want to say, and then everything else that you say during that whole writing project keeps referring back to that main idea. You keep going back to it. So what I like to do when I'm writing my wants, shoulds, needs, judgments, line 6, I don't ever want, all of those lines, I just keep looking back at, okay, what was going on and what was my emotional interpretation? So, oh, right, he doesn't respect me. So I keep remembering that and answer my wants based on him not respecting me, not just wants in general. How do I want him to change? What do I want him to do? I'm not thinking in general, I'm thinking about specifically when he didn't respect me in this situation. So all of it's contained here, the situation, the offender, the statement of fact, and the emotional interpretation. But my focus is on the emotional interpretation. When he didn't respect me in that situation, how do I want him to change? What do I want him to do? That would be line 2. Or line 3, what advice do I have for him in that situation when he didn't respect me? So it's very specific. It's very focused on what it is that was bothering me in that moment. And then my needs, line 4. What do I need him to do now that he has not respected me? He disrespected me. What do I need him to do to allow myself to really feel like I can let go of it? Like, what do I need him to do that would really take the stress away? How could he make it right when he didn't disrespect me? So he's already disrespected me. What can he do now to fix that in a really genuine way? So this is what I mean by continuing to focus back on the emotional interpretation of the event that happened in that particular situation. So just keep referring to it, keep referring to the actual situation, where you were, what was going on, but most importantly, on that emotional interpretation that was causing the stress in you. And I find when I do that, when I write my worksheet, it really deals with the issue that was that brought me to this worksheet. It deals with the stress that is going on. So of course you can write general complaints about the person in general. I've done that many times. Write a worksheet that's kind of all over the place, and that's okay. It's you can try to throw everything into one worksheet. Um, it's there's no wrong way to do it. But for me, when I go kind of 1 inch wide and 1 mile deep into just this particular incident and this particular emotional interpretation that I've chosen and look at all of my wants and all of my advice and all of my needs surrounding that, then it really seems to touch what's going on. And when I do the work on those statements, they also touch what I was dealing with there.